Sahanavavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
When I was studying in the college, a teacher used to say, list your priorities and prioritize your list. What is most important to what is least important, list it down in your life. And then make sure that you prioritize this effort over all other efforts to ensure that you follow this list. So if you say God is most important, then world and then other things, then that list should be prioritized. In the sense you really should follow through that God does remain the most important person and spiritual knowledge remains the most important pursuit. If that is what you say, then you must do that. Because when you don't have the integrity of thought, word and action, then you don't achieve anything in life. It is the integrity of thought, word and action which helps you succeed in life, whether it is a worldly success or spiritual success. So when spiritual people or the aspirants say God is most important for me, they better keep God as the most important thing in life, for which sake everything else can be sacrificed, given up. So even if you put you in a good company, you are restless. Like the pig Narada. He wanted to enjoy the worldly life. Narada was a rishi. But he thought, what is so beautiful about this world that people are so attracted, they forget God only? What is such a thing, such a big deal in the world? So our Narada took a form of a pig. Pig, swine. So he took the form and then he went into the company of pigs to just check what is so interesting in this world that they enjoy and they can't give it up. And then he met one female pig. They fell in love. They decided to marry. So they performed a ceremony. All pigs attended in that sewer. And then soon after marriage, they had their honeymoon in the sewer. And then they had piglets, plenty of them, because pigs produce a lot. And he was living like this happily, rolling in the slush, in that stench, in that stink, not able to understand the difference between good and bad, so enamored by his wife's beauty and his children's love that he could not think of God anymore. One day Indra was passing, the king of all the other gods. He could see through, he saw that this pig is not a pig. Then he realized this is Narada, a rishi who has become a pig. What is he doing in that sewer? So he went all the way to check with him. What are you doing here? He said, what do you mean what I am doing here? This is my home. This is where I belong. He said, no, you are a great rishi. You are a jnani. You have forgotten who you are. And you are rolling in this slush. It is so shameful. He said, no, I am quite happy over here. He said, no, I will take you to your original place. He said, is it even better than this? He said, it is much, much better than this. Come. So he tells, I will discuss with my wife. So he discusses with his wife that this man says that there is some better place where we can go and live, much better than what we are here. So wife says, all right, but take care of your diet and other things and let me know once you come back. So Narada very reluctantly parts with his wife and children with tears in his eyes, with great difficulty. He finally follows Indra and goes to the heaven where the gods reside. In the heaven there is beautiful dance and music, bhajans are going on, satsanga is going on, Rudra Yajnas are going on, all this beautiful Ashtavakra Gita is going on. But the pig is not interested. He is restless, he is fidgeting, he is agitated, he is moving from left to right, right to left. The king Indra asks, what's wrong with you? Don't you enjoy all these things? He said, no, I don't like any of these things. Okay, we will feed you the best of the things, freshly cooked meal from the kitchen, no stale stuff, no processed food, organic, healthy. No, I don't like all these things. I want to eat what I used to eat. Send me back. He says, wait, we will give you some beautiful entertainment, World Cultural Festival. Many countries will come and they will give you beautiful presentations. No, I don't want any of this. I want to go back to my sewer with my other pigs. Wait, there are many good spiritual talks going to happen. You will attain a lot of wisdom. No, I don't want any of it. I want to go back to the sewer. So till he went back to the sewer, he was not happy. Once he went back, he was relaxed. Oh, my wife, my kids, my stink, my stench, my smell, everything is back. This is how mind is. Vasanas, what I'm saying. Vasanas of the mind of the Purva Janma, they're so strong, they don't allow us to do the right thing. So we end up in such good environment like here, because we are children, we are told that you are God and everything is God and you must only see God. Theoretically, we pick it all up, repeat it like a parrot. But deep inside, those vasanas are there. We are still craving for that sewer only, even in the heaven. We still want that stale, smelly, stinky food, even if fresh things are served. We still want the company of the worldly and the selfish, even if we have company of the wise and the selfless. We still want to go back and enjoy those petty pleasures of the body and the mind, even if there is so much of entertainment for the soul. Why? Because we are still spiritually not evolved. Why? Because we have not prioritized things properly. And if you have prioritized God, then everything else should be given up for God's sake. Why there should be a delay? Why there should be even a single thought? So spirituality is for the courageous. Nayamatma balahine labhyaha. Weak people cannot attain God. It is not for the weak. All the ones who have attained God have been very courageous and very clear in their mind. Be clear, the rest will follow, Bhagavan used to say. This clarity that I want God and God alone should help you to give up everything just like that. If God wants you to have it, you have it. If God does not want you to have it, just drop it. Like a hot potato. That ability is the ability of a sadhaka. If you want to experience how Janaka experienced that truth in hardly any time, as Ashtavakra was speaking, then you should have this ability and courage. And that ability and courage comes from your priority. That God alone is your priority. Wife, husband, children, family, business, friends, relations, positions, accolades, powers, recognition, all this is secondary. Everything can be dropped. This is how you get God. Otherwise, you don't get God. See, God is exclusive. You want to get God, you have to get rid of everything else. That is the zeros that he keeps talking about. We think it's a very painful process, but the truth is that it is the most beautiful process of self-transformation. Like you see a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. You should see that, how it happens. It's ready to shed its cocoon, the comfort cocoons of family, of wealth, of power, position. It's ready to shed it all because it has now grown wings, beautiful wings. It's no more the ugly caterpillar. But unless it lets go of its old cocoon, can it ever take to its wings? Not possible. We want to stay in the cocoon yet become butterflies. Not possible. Choose one over the other. Then how do you treat your family and friends? Treat them also as gods. Treat them also with the same love but no attachment. See, love has no attachment. Love has no attachment. Love is equal. Love is free. If ever you feel bound in any relationship and call it that it's a relationship of love, you're fooling yourself. It's a relationship of whatever relationship, bound by certain emotional dependencies. That's all it is. Real love has no attachment, no dependencies. It's free, always free. So you say you love somebody and yet you are so dependent on them. It's not true. That love is not true. That's some infatuation, attraction, or some emotional bond, whatever it can be, a blood relation. So the idea is that we don't progress on the spiritual path unless we are this serious. Unless we are this serious, we don't progress on the spiritual path. We cannot have this and that both and somehow feel that, no, God will be kind, He will allow us to enjoy the world and somehow He will also grant us self-realization. Don't fool yourselves. Don't live in fool's paradise. If you really love God and God has already accepted you, He will give you the right people in your life. He will give you the right situations. He will give you the right environment where your spirituality is sustained, where your spirituality is retained, protected. So I have lost all the friends of the past, but I have made so many new friends. Maybe I have lost a lot of relations of the past, but I have made new relations. Maybe I have lost my earlier addresses and whatever titles, but I have received new addresses and titles. Everything has been like a rebirth for us. You're reborn in spirituality. Your old is no more valid. So it will get discarded automatically. Like the butterfly discards its cocoon. The old address, old position, old comfort zones are not valid, they are not applicable anymore. That is when it becomes a beautiful butterfly. So think like that, that unless you give up the old, you cannot get the new. You can't have the old and the new both at the same time. It's not allowed. That's not the spiritual path. So most of the people fool themselves that if we have God, we will also have the world. Not necessary. If you have God, you have only God. And whatever God decides you should have, that is all you will have. You don't decide anything anymore for yourself. So that clarity should be there in everybody. Now children are small, they are very idealistic, they listen to Ashtavakra, they become, okay, I want so many messages I get every day. Please bless me that I follow this path, I don't deviate, this sinks in, I realize this. I know this, but I know 2 years down, why 2 years, 1 year down the line? When the world comes back again with all its force, all these ideas will disappear. To sustain these ideas, you have to go on doing your daily sadhana. Daily you have to listen to the good things. Do Swadhyaya daily. Then only you will be able to sustain this effort. Otherwise, you will slip back into your old ways very quickly. Very quickly. It won't even take a few months. A day is enough. With that background, let me start this chapter 8. Just 4 shlokas. But now onwards, Ashtavakra Gita gets very interesting. Because till now you listen to the idea of self by Ashtavakra and the idea of the experience of the self by Janaka, which are beautiful. Both of them are talking in the same language and enjoying that conversation. Here onwards, practical tips start. I told you that Ashtavakra also gives you very practical tips because everybody is not realized like Janaka. Everybody is not living in the same state as Janaka where everything looks illusory. For us, life still matters to us. Somehow our priorities are not yet straightened out. Somehow we still are swinging in that confusion between world and God. We are still not there like Janaka. So how do we continue on this journey? Instead of just discussing theory of how it is in that state, here onwards Ashtavakras are saying, check on these things to know whether you are really reaching there or not, your milestones. And that is how we start the chapter 8. He gives you 6 reasons for your bondage. And then he tells, the first shloka says, Tada bandho yada chittam kinchid vanchati shochati kinchit munchati grihnati kinchit drishyati kupyati. Tada bandho, that is where the bondage is. Where? Yada chittam, where the mind kinchit vanchati desires for even something very little, very minuscule, but there is a trace of desire in you. When you have that smallest of the desire also, that's where bondage happens. Yada shochati, when you worry, when you think, when you are sorrowful, when you are sad because you didn't get what you wanted, even if it's the minuscule amount of it, not like a huge voracious appetite for things or desires, even the smallest trace of it is there, kinchit shochati, when the person thinks about it, kinchit munchati, when there is the smallest desire to give up or reject things, or the smallest desire to grihnati, which is to accept things, or the smallest desire, hrishyati, which means being happy, or kupyati means being angry or sad. When any of these qualities, which are desiring, worrying, rejecting, accepting, rejoicing, and suffering in anger, any of these 6 things are happening in you, howsoever small and little, you are still bound. That is the conclusion. You may say, no, my desires are very little now. I used to be so desirous, I used to be so worried, I used to be so angry, I used to be so excited. Now all that has come down to very, okay, to that extent the loosening of the bondage has happened, but you are still bound. You are not free. Ashtavakra will tell, because you still have the trace, minimal also, minuscule also, the trace of desire is there in you. You want something still. You desire for things. And because of that, you have the idea that I don't want this, I don't want that. And then you worry when you are not able to fulfill those desires. You get angry when your desires are not fulfilled. You get excited when the desires are fulfilled. All these dualities still exist in you. Howsoever in a smallest amount also, you are still bound. You are still bound. You are not yet free. So this is what you should check on yourself, whether I have any desire left in me. Even smallest desire also will bind us. Bharata, Jada Bharata story. The king Bharata had the smallest desire. Oh, where is that deer? I hope the lion has not eaten it. I hope it is safe in the forest. And he dies. with that smallest desire. He didn't desire for some kingdom, wealth, his wife and children, his all positions, power, respect, nothing. He just desired, I hope that little fawn that I was looking after is safe. And he died thinking of that and was born as a deer, they say. The idea is that even the smallest desire, if is remaining, even this much, it will still bind you. It will not allow you to be free. Now imagine how much of bondage we have. Think of every single desire, every idea of giving up or accepting, every idea of getting excited or getting depressed is like one snare, one noose around your neck. Now think how many nooses are there. And each of them you have to cut asunder to be free. Even if one is left, it is still bound. You cannot move out of it. So this is the idea. How do I get rid of it? Till I have the smallest desire also in me, you are bound. In a cinema hall also, you go to a big hall, there are boards written, no? Entry and exit. But whenever you enter a hall, first you should look for the exit door. Because if something goes wrong, which way should you go out? You should be really ready. Because you don't know when the call comes. That time you cannot delay. When God calls you, let's go, this is it. You can't say, I have so many things to wind up, I have so many things to pack, and I have so many things to carry. God will leave. He says, there's over, the time is over. I came, I gave you opportunity, you are not ready. So being ready all the time is very important. Little desire also in us does not allow us to be ready. So these 6 things you check on yourself. Vanchati, is there any desire? Shochati, is there any sorrow? Munchati, is there any idea of rejecting things? Grihnati, is there any idea of accepting things? Kinchat hirshyati, is there any idea of getting excited? Or kupyati, is there any idea of getting angry? Any of these 6 ideas even exist to the minimalist extent also, it only conveys that you are bound, you are not free. Which we all know that we are bound because we experience the bondage. We just cannot drop things and walk away. And so this idea of freedom is what he is now explaining, that what are the prerequisites? What all should happen in you? And if you have any of these things not happening, then you are bound only. This idea of I and mine is the reason for all this. I desire, I am happy, I am excited, I am depressed, I am angry. This I, this small I which we say, the ego identity is the problem. If you don't have that ego identity, there is no problem at all. Nothing can bind you. Because to bind you, something should be there to bind you. Like 0 multiplied by anything is 0. Likewise, there is nothing to tie to. Where is the question of bondage? You don't exist as the ego. You cannot be bound. That is the idea. Nothing moves inside you. You are absolutely peaceful. As Ashtavarkra says, a beautiful shloka is there. Yada panchavi tishtanti jnanina manasa saha buddhischana vicheshtati tam ahu paramam gatihi. What is the highest state? All the 5 senses are absolutely still. No desiring, wanting to taste, touch, smell, hear. Nothing. Absolute stillness. Pancha avatishtanti. And jnanina manasa saha. And he says that jnanani manasa saha, even the higher intelligence in you, discrimination, that also is absolutely 0. This discrimination, I want this, I want to reject this, this is good, that is bad, these are nice, those are not, these are mine, those are others. This idea of that also disappears. Mind also absolutely steady because there are no sankalpa vikalpa, no thoughts and decisions. Absolutely steady. Buddhi, your intelligence also is absolutely steady. It doesn't fluctuate. That sthiti is known as the self. That Kathopanishad says. When all your senses are steady, your intelligence is steady, your discrimination is steady, your mind is steady, absolutely there is no vikara in you, no movements in you. That is the ultimate state of self. But how does vikara come? Like in a steady, still lake, how do ripples form? The wind blows from somewhere. And when the wind blows, or you throw a stone in it, ripples form. Like that, these jnanis are able to maintain the steadiness of their inside. Why? Because they are not affected by the winds or any disturbance to the lake. And these disturbance and winds are what? They are samskara and vasanas. What is vasana? Deep-rooted instincts. They are vasanas. Why it has come? Because so many lifetimes we have been doing that. Repeated habits. They become our vasanas. And what are samskaras? These vasanas, when they externally get manifested as activities, belief systems, behavioral systems, they are samskara. Iವರು ತುಂಬ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರವಂತರು ಅಂತ we say. He's a very, very cultured person. Samskara means he has got very good behavior and demeanor and disposition. What is the reason for it? His vasanas. Deep under, he has these latent tendencies, instincts. So this is Vasana Samskara. Vasana is instinct, Samskara is the tendency, which expresses the instincts. So you are very greedy by instinct. What will be your Samskara? Always looking for what I can get out of things. So that idea, the Samskara Vasana are like a chakra. The moment you fulfill an instinct through a tendency, it reinforces the instinct. It makes it stronger in you. So every time you follow on your instincts and make it happen, it becomes even stronger. Suppose your instinct is anger, short temper. Every time you get angry, it becomes stronger in you. You have an instinct of kindness. Every time you do charity, it becomes stronger in you. And that is how we grow and evolve. We have already brought some ideas with us from our previous lives. But how to overcome them? You have to change your samskaras. For that, you have to change your vritti. Vritti means whatever you are doing in the life. So it's a reverse thing. You change your actions, change your tendencies, change your thoughts and deep beliefs. Remember, sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a tendency, sow a tendency, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny. Now go back, reverse. Let us want to change. We want to change our destiny. What should we change? We should change our character. For that, what should we change? Change our habits. For that, what should we change? Change our actions, tendencies. For what we change, we should change our actions. For that, what should change? Change our thoughts. So go back. Start changing your actions. Start doing more seva. Start meeting people who are kind and generous. Start being with the company of people who are spiritual and seekers. Already slowly your tendencies will start changing, habits will start changing, and eventually your deep-rooted vasana will also change and go away. That is why external body should be put to work. Mind should be put to thinking. But what kind of work? The work that frees you, not that which binds you. Thoughts that free you, not that which bind you. Then slowly your inside will change. So change the outside, your inside will change. Change the inside, your outside will change. So the same principle you apply, I will change the outside so that my inside also changes. Once my inside changes, my outside further reinforced. The changes will get reinforced. So I am not a slave to my instincts anymore. I put conscious efforts. Like people can't wake up in the morning. What is the effort they should put? Wake up in the morning. Put an alarm and somehow force yourself to get out of the bed. You do it over a regular period of time. Slowly it becomes habit. You start enjoying waking up early. You start enjoying that morning rituals. And then you don't want to lie in the bed anymore. So we can, uddhared atmanatmanam, we can redeem ourselves through efforts. And these efforts are possible. It's not that it's not possible. So what is the effort he's asking? Check on yourself. Any desire, any worry, any idea of rejection or accepting, any idea of joy and sorrow or anger and frustration, you are bound. Because these emotions are now the snares that are binding you. You have to overcome that. This is what he's saying. So this is the first shloka itself. This itself puts us in a difficult spot because we all go through these things. Every time we are going through this, it means our bondages are intact. Nothing has changed even after listening to Ashtavakra. The second shloka is, he said, where is the bondage? When these 6 things happen, there is bondage. So where is the freedom? When these 6 things don't happen. That is the next shloka. It says, tada muktir yada chittam na vanchati, na shochati, na muchanti, na grhanati, na hrishyati, na kupyati. When all these 6 things cease to happen in you, you are free. So this second shloka does not need a separate explanation. It is a corollary to the first one. The first one says, when these things happen, you are bound. The second one says, when these things don't happen, then you are not bound. Nothing should be, no desire should be there. Let it be as it is. One story is there, right? One man goes to meditate. His guru says, go to that particular hill, go on top of the hill and meditate. He has nothing, he has just a loin copin cloth that he has tied around his waist and gone up the hill. But whenever he is meditating, whenever he washes that one piece of cloth that he has, all his possessions, when he puts it for drying, there are these wild rats, the mountain rats. So they would start nibbling on the cloth. After all, it's a small piece of cloth, but they make holes in it. So he feels very uncomfortable, says that I have only one piece of cloth, these rats have eaten into that, what do I do? So he goes down the village, go to the village people say, what happened? He says, my piece of cloth is gone bad because these rats have eaten, made holes into it. They give him another piece of cloth, say, you're a jnani, you're a yogi, please go up and do meditation. But they also tell him that, then he says that, can I have a cat? Can you donate a cat? Why? So that cat will take care of the rats. All right, there's a papam. After all, he's doing his meditation, so they donate a cat. So takes the cat and goes up. And now the cat is after the rats, so nobody is disturbing his meditation or the cloth. So cat finishes off all the rats on the hill. And after a few weeks or months, the cat is hungry. It has nothing to eat, so it's crying all the time, meow meow. And this man's meditation is going for a toss. So he goes down to the village again. This time villagers ask, what is the problem? He says, the cat has finished all the rats, but the cat is always hungry. So can you donate a cow? The villagers say, all right, no problem, we'll give you a cow. So he takes the cow and goes up. There's lush green grass on the hill. So cow is happily eating the grass. The milk is coming. The cat is drinking all the milk. This man also is drinking some milk. They are living happily. After some time, there is summer season. All the grass is over. Everything is dried up. Now the cow is hungry. So it is making noise all the time. Now the man goes down to the village and tells the villagers, the cow is hungry because there is no grass. Can you lend me a worker, a helper, who can grow some grass for the cow on the hill, so that cow can eat grass and give milk, so that cat can drink milk and keep the rats away. So they say, okay, fine, we will give you a worker. So one village man goes up with him and grows some grass on the hill for the cow. Now the cow is happily eating grass, giving milk, cat is drinking milk, keeping the rats away. Everything is peaceful and nice. But after some time, because of the man who is gone up, he cannot drink milk all the time. He says, Yogi, you can drink, I have to eat some grains. Can I make a little farm and grow some grains? He said, all right, by all means do that. So he starts growing grains. Now they're having good meals on top. And then after a heavy, hefty meal, what happens? What happens? Sleeping all the time. But they have become very strong and beautiful and handsome. Is no more the skinny, bony mendicant who had come. So there is a village maiden who is going there, and she looks at him and gets enamored. She comes to him and tells, you are such a handsome man. You are eating this food and you are drinking this milk. I can do more for you. I can cook very well. I'll take care of you. Would you marry me? He says, no, I'm not here to marry. I'm here to meditate. He said, but if I'm there, the other person also will get food. He can manage the farm better. And then I will not disturb your meditation. I'll cook for you and I'll be lying in one corner. I will not disturb. So she convinces him. He also gets married. After marriage, the wife is cooking nicely. The farm is running well. Cows are growing. Cats are taking care of the rats. Amber man is meditating. But after a few years, few months, whichever way, the wife gets very disturbed. She says, see, you are a mendicant, you want to do meditation. But I am a normal woman. I need to have children. I need to have a family. I will take care of the children so that I am not bored. You continue your meditation. So then they have 2 children. Now the children are running around the whole place. Where is the meditation? By the time the guru comes searching for, I had sent a disciple up here. Where is he? And then this man, young, very nicely built, well dressed, with 2 kids playing around, plenty of cows, a large farm, and a house, and a beautiful woman, and many servants, is sitting there. He says, I had sent one of my disciples to meditate. Do you know if he is anywhere? He says, Guruji, I am the disciple. What happened to you? What are you up to? He says, not my fault. These rats in the mountain were eating the cloth. The rats are the reason for this mess. He says, the rats are not the reason. You are the reason for the mess. If rats had eaten the cloth, roam naked. After all, you came for meditation only, right? You were not interested in the world. No, but those vasanas, deep down, those were there. And one desire led to another. A desire to protect your piece of cloth led to the desire for cat. Then the cat led to cow. Cow led to grass. Grass led to a man. Man led to other food. Then came a woman. Woman led to children. And now you are a samsari. You have lost the very purpose for which. That is what happens to every soul that comes to the earth. It comes with the same conviction, I must realize God. But then gets entangled in all these vasana, samskara chakras. I want this, then to fulfill that something else, to fulfill that something else, and then you are caught in this samsara. You're never able to get out of it. Now how do we get out? How does he get out of it? He has to abandon his wife and children. And how people will say, how cruel that is. That you married and now you have abandoned your children. And now you're not looking after the wife. What about her fate? What is her fault? After all, you agreed to marry. So you cannot come out of this. It's a quicksand now. The more you struggle to come out, the more you'll go inside. So this is the samsara. This is the idea of why this samsara is so very attractive, yet it is so very enticing, and finally it binds you. So what is the other way? Stop desiring for things. Make it minimal. Your bondage will loosen at least. The third shloka, it says, again continuing in the same tone, Tada bandho yada chittam saktam kasvapi drishtishu, tada moksho yada chittam asaktam sarva drishtishu. All that we see, hear, taste, smell and touch. Drishtishu means what we see, but it simply can be extrapolated to all the sensory perceptions and experiences. What happens? Tada bandho. Bondage is when yada chittam, the heart or the mind, saktam kasvapi drishtishu. In any of the things that are seen, if the mind gets entangled, you get bondage. Means not just the scene, here whatever you can hear, taste, smell or touch. In any of these things, when your mind gets attached, you get bound. And what is the reverse of it? Tada moksha yada chittam asaktam sarvadrishtishu. When your mind becomes unattached to all that you see, you are free. You are free. See, problem is not with seeing. Problem is getting attached to what we see. Problem is not in the world. Problem is getting attached to the world. World will be world. You cannot wish it away. But the problem is when you get attached to the world. How? Through your senses. What you see, hear, taste, smell or touch. Now you are very attached to it. You can't give up. I want to eat it again. I want to go to that place again. I want to meet that person again. I want to see that place again. That attachment. Once you see, it's not a problem. Once you want to see it twice, then there is a problem. That is why I think it was Aristotle who said, the cure for love at first sight is to have a second look. Then you will know how many problems are there in that person. First sight, everybody, wow. Take a second look and you know how many faults are there. Then you don't want to marry the same person. So seeing is not a problem. Seeing again and again is a problem. Tasting is not a problem. Tasting again and again is a problem. Whatever we receive or perceive through our senses, be developing a desire and attachment to experience it again and again is the problem. So he's saying that whenever such a thing happens, when you get attached to the sensory perceptions, you get bound. Remember the 5 things. Kuranga, Matanga, Matanga, Meena, Bhrunga. 5 animals with 5 senses. They get bound. The deer by the sense of hearing. The hunter makes rustling sound of the leaves and the deer gets attracted, goes there, gets caught in the net. Elephant touch. Female elephant goes, touches the male elephant. Male elephant loses all his discrimination, follows the female all the way to the trap. The trained female. Bringa, the bee, the taste of smell, the sense of smell. It wants to smell the fragrance of the flowers, goes and falls in it, gets captured. Patanga, the firefly or the moth, it sees the flame and wants to experience the light because of the perception, eye, sight, it goes and falls and burns itself. And fish, to taste that worm hanging on the hook, fish hook, it goes and tries to eat it and gets caught. Because of one sense, they all are destroyed. So he says, Nara panchab biranchita kim, Adi Shankaracharya says, man is bound by all the 5 senses. How much dangerous it is for a man to survive when these animals die because of just one of the sense perception. So that is the idea. World will be world, you cannot change, but you should not have the temptation to look at it twice. Should see and walk away. Why all this window shopping? They put all these nice mannequins outside the shops with nice dresses. What is their attempt? Because they know that once we see it and we get attracted, we will enter the shop. Forget about now window shopping. Scrolling, all these online marketing, online commerce, e-commerce, such a dangerous trend. People just see that, get attracted. And have you seen, if you're watching anything online, be it on your Instagram, Facebook, if you keep that screen like that for more than 3 to 4 seconds, it will pick it up that you are watching this. And then it will keep throwing the same advertisement, same things again and again. Because once I tried this, and I saw within no time, all the things which are coming are suggestive of the same type of product. Suppose I wanted to buy a shoe. So I saw an advertisement of the shoe. I just got stuck there for a moment and then I scrolled off. But then the shoe advertisement started coming again and again. Every 5th or 6th post, there is a shoe advertisement. Because the people who are writing those algorithms, they know that we are caught by our senses. Once they get our attention, They start bombarding us with the same thing again and again so that we get attracted. And that's why I say, see once, no problem. See again, problem. Hear once, no problem. Hear again, problem. Touch once, no problem. Again you want to problem. Taste once, no problem. Again you want to taste, then you have got caught. So that is the bandha of ours. We want to experience the world, and that is why we get pulled into it. And once we get sucked into it, there is nothing that we can do. We are helpless. It's so powerful. Maya is so powerful. That's why I say Indriyani Paranyahu. Indriyabhya Paramanaha. Indriyas are very powerful. Indriyani Paranyahu is said that Indriyas are very, very strong. Why? Because that's how they have been created. But mind is stronger than Indriyas if you can think right. And discrimination is stronger than mind if you can discriminate right. And Atman, which is the ultimate self, is stronger than everything else. Use the strength of your Atman. Uddhared Atman Atmanam, which is use the strength of the Atman. Don't fall for the senses and the mind. How many people have gone and destroyed themselves because they could not just control their senses? They wanted to go on experiencing the joy of senses. That is why earlier also we have done Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa. You keep thinking about something again and again. Sangasteshu pajayate. You develop attachment. Sangad sanjayate kamaha. From the attachment comes the desire to have it. Kamat krodho bijayate. From the desire comes anger because you cannot fulfill the desire. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. Once you are angry, you are deluded. You can't think right from wrong. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Then your discrimination is lost. Your memory is lost. Smriti vibhrat buddhi nasho. Then your intelligence is destroyed because you don't have a memory of what is right, what is wrong. And buddhi nashat pranashyati. Once your intelligence is destroyed, you are destroyed. These are the 8 steps of destruction that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. Why these advertisement companies are so strong? Every few seconds they keep throwing up. You think they are trying to be nice to you? No, they are just trying to make money on you. And they know your weakness that you will again and again visit. Many children are there. They go to unnecessary sites, websites, entertainment websites or another kinds. Once they go there, they get all your details are captured. You don't realize it. That's why I'm very particular. I told internet has to be very carefully used. Because once you visit any website, all your data is captured. And now they know where you are and what you are doing and which other website you are visiting and what other things you are purchasing, where all you are going. They know all your details. So they track you now. Now you have become bound to them. And then they keep throwing the similar things so that you keep getting attracted by that and waste your time. So slowly the mind's nature is like that. It will pull you into it. Before you realize, it will just drag you into it. And helplessly, as Arjuna says, anichchanapi varshneya. Without wanting to get involved in the world, you will get involved. Baladiva niyojita, as if it has been forced upon you, as if you could not have any control, resistance to it. It pulls you so fast, such fast. That is the problem. Why I always tell, yes, if you've seen something once, if you want to stay detached, don't see it again. Just walk away. Just walk away. Leave the place. If you do not want to get entangled. Yes, good things, same thing applies to good things, spiritual things. See it again and again. Hear it again and again. Why? Because that is how you develop strong affinity for God. The idea is that you see it once, you see it only once. The moment you try to see it twice, you have been bound. But if you see it once and walk away, you are free. But you try to see it twice, you get bound. So that is what he's saying. That if you are in this world and get attached to the sense perceptions, then you are going to get bound. And for that sake, you will keep repeating this mistake over and over and over again. And before you realize, you are already a habitual offender. And eventually a criminal, because the mind will drag you towards that. Its job is not to let you realize God, right? As Swami Chinmayananda says, everything in this world is created to take man away from God, not take man towards God. For an ordinary man, Jnani will see God in everything, so he has no problem. For an Ajnani, everything has been created to take man away from God, to distract man from his original path. You people play, that dahi handi, climb up during Krishnashtami and break the pot which has curds in it, right? What do you do when somebody is trying to achieve it? Everybody is trying to distract him. Isn't it? Everybody is throwing water, the opposite team people. They're throwing water, shouting slogans, distracting him by making noise. But he is focused. He has to go and break that pot. Only then he wins. So they make that whatever pyramid and then climb and break the pot. He's very consistent. He's very focused. Like that we have to be in this world. Razor's edge I mentioned yesterday. If you're not focused, you'll fall. Distractions will be there. Even sledging happens in sports. You see in cricket, Sunil ji was telling. Sledging happens. When you're about to do, just bowler will pass a comment when you're about to bat to just disturb your peace of mind. And once you start paying attention to it and start ringing in your head again and again, you will lose the focus and make a mistake. That's why anything that you are tempted to see twice, run away. Because that is the beginning of your bondage to that thing. So don't follow Aristotle in these matters. Go have a second look. No. Don't have the second look. Just walk away. That is the best way to redeem yourself. I think we are done. One last sloka is there. In the same tone, it's on page number 20. It says, Yada naham tada moksho, yada aham bandhanam tada, matveti helaya kinchin ma grihan vimunchama. Beautiful shloka. Again, one of my favorites says, Yada naham tada moksho. When there is no sense of me, I, that is liberation. But where there is sense of I am, or I am so and so, and therefore these things belong to me, that is where the bondage is. This idea of identification with the body that I am so and so is the bondage, and disidentification is freedom. What do you do? Matveti helaya. Matva iti. Knowing this, helaya, playfully, joyfully, easily. The jnani does what? Kinchin ma grihan vimunchama. The jnani does not need to accept something or reject something. The whole life is ragadvesha, I said. We run towards things that we like and we run away from things that we don't like. The whole life is spent in that only. Running towards and running away from things. So he says that running away or running towards both don't exist for whom? Who has no sense of ego. Now I told you, if you look at one thing, just look at it once and go away. If you look at it twice, you get stuck. That's for the ajnani. For the jnani, he sees everything and everything is okay. Why? He has no ego identity. He does not identify himself with the body and the senses. Once he does not identify, bring anything in front of him, it doesn't attract him at all. It doesn't distract him at all. So jnani is okay. He is telling what is a jnani then? How does a jnani live in this world? Can he keep avoiding everybody, keep avoiding everything? No, he has to function in the world. He has to deal with people, situations and things. Then how does a jnani go about? Playfully he goes about it. Helaya, khelati type. Just enjoys. Khelato bhoga leelaya, it was said earlier. He enjoys, rejoices, he plays along. He plays along, doesn't get entangled, doesn't get affected by it. He plays along. Because he has no attraction for such things. He has realized the self. If he has not realized the self, he's stuck in the body, then body gets attracted to things. Because body wants to fulfill its sense gratification. Or mind wants to fulfill its ideas and desires. But the self has no such things. So such a person, even in the middle of all the distractions, he is unaffected. Bhoga ratova, yoga ratova, sangha ratova, sangha vihinaha. Yasya brahmani ramate chittam, nandati nandati nandatyeva. In bhoga, in yoga, in sangha or asangha, such a person who is absorbed in the self is always rejoicing. For him there is no attraction. What can you attract him towards? That is the idea, that such a person becomes free. Like I always tell, play a game, not for winning and losing, for the joy of it. Sportsman spirit is that. Play for the joy of it, not to defeat somebody or not to win. Just for the joy of it. The jnani is like playful in this world. He just plays along. Good things happen, he plays along. Bad things happen, he plays along without getting entangled into any of these things. Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya was there. He built the Banaras Hindu University. I mentioned the story over here. I heard it from somebody, some disciple of his, who said Madan Mohan Malaviya ji went to build Banaras Hindu University when? In British times. It's 100-year-old university. Imagine at that time, British people would allow you to build a Hindu university in India. Very difficult. Yet he was such a great man, he went about doing it. So he wanted to collect donations because there was no money. So he went all the way to the Nizam of Hyderabad, who was the richest person on earth, and asked him for donation. So when he reached his court and asked that I want to build a Hindu university and you Nizam should give me some donation. Imagine asking a Muslim king to give donation for a Hindu university. Nizam removed his chappal and threw at him out of anger. Now Malaviya ji is such a great personality, such a learned one. He was treated so badly, but he caught that chappal, put it in his bag, said thank you and walked away. Went to the square, Charminar square, and said this is Nizam's chappal. I am auctioning. And people bought it because they thought it's something that they can keep. And that's how he got that some money and went back. He had no problem with the insult because he is not identifying himself with this idea that such a great Mahamana Madan Mohan Malaviya, how did this Nizam treat me so badly? That's why I tell. If you really want to test your spiritual stamina, do fundraising. Why all the greed? Why all the conflicts? Because everybody is identifying themselves, the body and the mind. They're attached to the senses and the sense perceptions. They cannot think of anything beyond that. Because whatever they experience with their senses, they believe it to be true. So he says, when there is naham, there is no ahankara. Ahankara is not just the individual ego. This identification with the body is not there. That's when moksha happens. And where yada aham, tada bandha, he says, when there is ahankara, that I am the body and this body needs to be preserved and protected, and all these relations of the body have to be taken care of, and all that this body has earned and accumulated and amassed must be protected. These ideas don't allow people to be themselves, the real self. So he says, when you give that up, you become free. So how does a jnani live? He deals with the world playfully, like children play. They don't realize, no, they'll fight. Children come, they fight, and the parents get involved in the fight. Next day, children become friends and play again, but the parents are still fighting. They stop talking to each other. For them, everything is playful. The jnani doesn't take things to his heart. If I started taking things to my heart with what people said and did, we wouldn't have grown this far. Let it be. They don't know. They are children. In the path of jnana, all people, the jnanis, have to be treated like children. Balam. In the spiritual path, we have to treat everybody as a child. They are children. Will you fight with children? When we play with children, let's say we are playing a game of carom. The child wants to win. You lose on purpose, isn't it? Do you feel hurt and insulted? No. Why you will feel? Because that's a child. What is there to fight with a child? Why take it to our ego and or take it to our heart? It's a playful thing. Let us play. Let the child enjoy. Go home. That is how a jnani should look at the world. That is why the jnani has the ability to forgive people. Love gives and forgives, they say. This is why love gives and forgives. Okay, it treats others as children. What to fight with children? If some child shouts at you, why should you go back and fight with the child? There is a child, what does he know? You leave it at that, right? Bachcha hai, chhod do, bechara. That's what we tell others. Yo, is a papam, small child, leave him. Like that, even if they're grown up 80-year-old and they have not grown spiritually, they are children only. They have to be treated like that. They will make mistakes. They will say things which are not nice. They will do things which are not nice. You have to look at them as children and say, let it be. You don't take it to your heart and start suffering. Why? Because you are a jnani. You have no ahankara. Ahankara is there only, there is a problem. There is no ahankara. So now how to get rid of this ahankara? So I have a path. Na aham to dasoham to naham to soham. Aham means ahankara, I am so and so. Dasoham means I am only a servant of God. How can servant have any ego? Can't. Then from that no ego of the servant, you will become egoless, naham. But when you become empty, then God will fill you. And that is called soham. That is the ultimate stage.